All right, so for the first test, we're gonna start off with the 24mm lens. Bro.
That's some Mario Kart shit, bro.
All right, so should I do that first one again?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys, I just got the iPhone 16 Pro, and I've been dying to shoot some portraits on it, so I'm here with my buddy Isaac, and today we're just gonna go through the lenses and show you guys kind of a comparison with my R5. It is a professional DSLR camera. This is the iPhone. We're gonna do a comparison test for you guys and just see.
You can't fucking make this up.
He literally did it on purpose.
I hope the mic can hear that, because
To LA, baby.
there's just always something going on here, dude. That's fine. You know what? It is what it is. There's a dude doing wheelies on a bike here now. Today we're going to be testing out the iPhone 16 Pro, and I'm going to be comparing it with my Canon R5 here for some portrait photography. I really believe now that with all the upgrades from the iPhone 16 Pro from any other version, it is actually valid now to compare it to a DSLR because it's just getting that good. And I know for a fact that the results actually did shock me about how close that the iPhone 16 Pro got to my files on the R5. And I honestly think you'll be surprised too. Both the iPhone 16 Pro and the R5 are both going to be shot in RAW, but in this video I'm editing them to be as close as I can just to show you guys how close the iPhone 16 Pro can really get to a professional DSLR. I'm going to show you guys side-by-side comparisons from each lens on the iPhone 16 Pro. I'm going to put each of those lenses on my Canon R5, matching the millimeter, and we're going to go out and shoot side-by-side with the R5 and the iPhone 16 Pro and show you guys the results. Perfect. And yeah, go ahead and bring your hand up. Yeah, looking down. That's dope. Okay, let's turn this way. Let me see what the light looks like on you this way. Sick, that looks awesome. All right, so let's talk about the 1X lens. This lens is without a doubt the lens with the best resolution. If you zoom in on these 48 megapixel RAW files on your phone or your computer, the resolution is actually really, really good. We have two photos, one from the iPhone 16 Pro and one from the R5. And if you look at them here side by side, they're actually so close. That's why I love shooting on the 1X lens. If I'm ever in a situation where I feel like I need to get more of a professional shot, but I don't have my DSLR on me, I will definitely use the 1X lens to try to withhold that resolution, because you can do a lot with that in post. You can crop, zoom in, or if you just leave it uncropped, the resolution is so insane with that 48 megapixels. So let's talk about sharpness. And when we zoom in, you'll notice that the DSLR does capture a little bit more detail in the skin texture and in the eyes, but the iPhone isn't too far from it, and that's what gets me excited to be an Apple user. I'm always so ready to get the newest iPhone and just go out and try it, because you're basically getting a brand new camera in your pocket. Yep, yep, fire. Looking off that way now. Nice, love that. I'm actually gonna darken the exposure a little bit more too. And then let's have you looking off this way now. You can switch it up. Yep, and you can turn your whole shoulders that way as well. Yep. Yeah, I think you put this hand up kind of higher. Yep, like that. There we go. And take a little step backwards to the light. Look kind of at the wall again. A little bit more towards the sidewalk now with your eyes. Yeah, you're good. All right, so let's talk about the 2X lens. This lens personally is my favorite lens. I feel like the resolution, the sharpness, and when you use portrait mode on it, it's actually good enough to use for that lens. I love the look of the compression on this lens, and if they ever made the 2X lens 48 megapixels of its own, that would be a game changer, because 2X is just my favorite millimeter for the iPhone. All right, so here's some shots that I shot on the 2X lens on the iPhone. Personally, I thought it was really hard to distinguish if it was an R5 shot or if it was an iPhone shot. I feel like the obvious takeaways from that are just kind of the lack of depth of field or foreground blur. So this shot right here was shot with the 2X lens on the iPhone 16 Pro, and then this shot right here was shot with my Canon R5 at 50mm. To me, it's actually pretty insane that if you zoom in on the iPhone 16 Pro shots and the Canon R5 shots this closely, that they can even look this similar now. Yeah, dude, these are already starting to look clean. So this is portrait mode at 2x lens, yeah.
Damn, that's fast.
Which is like basically a 50mm equivalent, or 48.
The colors, man.
So sharp. Yeah, bro, the 16 Pro is crazy. They're getting so close to DSLR, like so close.
Scary.
But for like what you can just throw in your pocket though, these are actually insanely convenient. Cause what, bro? Like how can you just?
It's insane, yeah.
So sick.
Yeah, people are gonna think like these are taking on an actual camera.
Hasselblad. Nah, I'm kidding. I think I could shoot here. If we want to try it.
Yeah, of course.
I think you'd have to be like right above me though, dead ass. Yeah, take a little step over this way and one closer. I think you might just have to like kind of bend in too, like bend down, like just taking a step back now. And like mess with your glasses maybe too. You know, and maybe something like that. I feel like that looks dope. Hands on the phone. And then look with your face, like look off maybe or something. Yeah, like that. Yep. And look the other way. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What do you think?
I like it a lot, bro.
It's kind of cool. It's like just.
Dang, it looks so fucking clean.
Bro, the new lens is 48 megapixels. The new ultra wide.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited about these. So I took this shot on the iPhone 16 Pro ultra wide lens. The new ultra wide lens is 48 megapixels. But it's actually pretty insane how sharp the ultra wide lens is now. And here's the same shot using my DSLR with the same millimeter lens. I do feel like with the ultra wide, it was very easy for me to point out which photos were iPhone and which were DSLR. And I think the main reason why is because that ultra wide lens just doesn't have background blur at all. So if you look closely at the palm trees, you'll actually see in the background that they are almost in focus just as much as the portrait is itself. Now, if you look in the background of this DSLR shot, you'll see that the palm trees are actually blurred out, which is obviously how it should be since it was taken on a professional camera. I find that the iPhone with their ultra wide lens, it's just kind of everything in focus, but I do love how in the DSLR shots, there's actually depth of field. And that is something that I feel like the iPhone does lack. The ultra wide lens doesn't necessarily compare to the R5 in a professional way. However, if you can edit the photos to look like your R5 shots, then I do believe that they will blend in your body of work. All right, so now we're gonna hop into the telephoto lens. This is the 5X lens on the iPhone, which is equivalent to 120 millimeter. I'm gonna be using a 75 to 300, but I'm gonna lock it at 120. Me personally, I went from the 14 Pro to the 16 Pro, so I didn't have that 5X lens, and I actually really love the zoom. And for that reason, I do really enjoy this 5X lens. Another feature that I really love from the iPhone is that you can save the last settings that you were shooting at. I always shoot with the exposure on the iPhone being at -1 or -2 because I feel like that is where you get the best contrast from the iPhone, and it saves those settings for you. So next time I go to pull my phone out, it'll be stuck at -1 exposure, and that makes it easier for me to just start shooting immediately. Looking out that way. Dang, that looks so sick. Damn, 5X is so zoomed in, bro. It's so zoomed in, but the scene looks so sick. I'm just gonna have to get it after this Corvette passes or whatever this is. Now I'm just now getting full body. Okay, and then just a couple more close-ups and we're chilling. Looking out that way? Yeah, that lighting's the best right there. Okay, that was cool, that was cool. Okay, so now let's talk about the telephoto lens. And the first shot looks great. Again, I edited these photos to look very similar to each other just so we could really point out what the camera is doing, not necessarily how we edit things. But in these photos, if you go back and forth, you'll see the subtle differences. And I think to me, mostly that is the background blur. In the professional DSLR shots, you can really just tell that there is a little bit more blur in the background, but that's not a make or break for me. It never really has been. I would say overall, the 5X lens doesn't directly compare to a DSLR, but I do think that, you know, if you're shooting on iPhone, there's obviously a specific look for it. I do find that everything is kind of in focus in a lot of iPhone photography. Just from doing this test myself, I would say that the 1X lens is the lens that comes closest to the DSLR. I feel like the 1X lens has incredible resolution, especially if you're shooting at 48 megapixels. And with all this being said, I just want it to be known that I do believe that any camera that you have on you is going to be the best one. Honestly though, regardless of the camera, I do believe that lighting is your make or break. You could be shooting with the world's worst camera, and if you have incredible lighting, you would still probably get a pretty good result. I feel like at least when I started, I thought that upgrading my gear would just make me a much better photographer. But in reality, if you're just someone who's just starting out, or actually if you're just in any stage of photography and you don't educate yourself or you don't really know a lot about lighting, that is really where you need to be spending most of your time. Because manipulating your light to your advantage is something that will help your photography elevate a lot faster. So overall, does the iPhone 16 Pro compare to a professional DSLR? If we're talking about specs and straight out of camera performance, then the answer is no. But if the iPhone is the only camera that you have when you're in an incredible moment, take the shot and definitely just see what you can do in post to get it to try to look more like a professional shot. I've done it before. It's actually amazing what you can do with an iPhone RAW file. You can edit it to get pretty close to some of your professional shots. And yeah, that concludes my review on the iPhone 16 Pro versus the Canon R5, a professional DSLR. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I really love shooting with the iPhone 16 Pro, so I thought this would be a great video to show to you guys that you just don't always need a big bulky camera. Sometimes the iPhone can't keep up, and I hope you saw that in this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts below. Were you impressed with the iPhone 16 Pro, or do you feel like it still has a lot of work to do? And that's it for this one, guys. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.